Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Kozlowski. I'm the Managing Director of Chambersburg Community Theater, and I'm super excited to welcome you all here today to the first of our virtual reunion series. Tonight, I have 5 very, very special people in our CCT family. These 5 individuals have grown up on our stage. We've watched them from littles all the way up through their teenage years, and all 5 of them have now gone off into the world and are extremely successful people, and we're so incredibly proud of them. You probably will remember these 5 specifically from the 2013 sold-out production of Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka the Musical. These were our 5 leading kiddos that absolutely stole the show every night and made our production what it was. And now I'd like to bring them in to give you a little look back at CCT and their memories, as well as where they are today. So please welcome Noah Gross, Logan Conner, Christian Witmer, Amelia Workman, and Megan Bard. Come on in, guys.
Hi.
There they are, my wonderful kiddos. They're all grown up. This is very hard for me. I first started working with these kiddos back in 2012 when I started working with CCT on Stage Camp. And they were just littles, and now they're all grown up, and it makes me sad. But I love them all. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So Megan, I'll start with you. Give me your CCT origin story.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd grown up in Chambersburg my whole life. I was involved in those Salute to, Time and Space, like all those little music things that we did at CCT.
Oh, the Cumberland Valley Samplers?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, still going on today, still going strong.
Yeah. My first show that I did was the Best Christmas Pageant Ever in 2009. And then, so I was in the angel choir there, and then we did it again in 2011. And my mother was the mom in the show, and I was in the angel choir again. And so from there, I was really interested, and then we did The Sound of Music, and that was my first speaking role. And then from there, I've just been involved ever since, so.
There were others. Noah, you were in Sound of Music, and Logan and Christian. Amelia, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. See, they grew up on that stage. So exciting. All right, Christian, what's your story?
So it was mainly my mom was like, you don't really have many friends, and I was like, yeah, I can agree with that. And so we decided to do theater was the call. And I actually started in Carlisle, and then transitioned to Chambersburg because they just weren't really doing any shows that I was right for, and that's obviously where I met everybody. And I was like petrified because I'm like an anxious person anyway, God. But once I was into it, I was like, okay, well, I really enjoy the process. I really enjoy everything about it. And after my first show, which might have been Sound of Me, I forget. It might have been Sound of Music. I feel like I had met Laura before that.
Weren't you in the Best Pageant Ever?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I'd like have done that one like enough that I'm like, when did I do it and who was I? But yeah, a Best Christmas Pageant, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to talk in front of people. And so then after that point, it was just something I wanted to keep doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Noah, what about you? What was your start with CCT?
Yeah, so my start with CCT was when I was about 10 or 11, when I was also in The Sound of Music. But I had known the director, Laura and Sean, for years and years because I did their summer camp in West Virginia called Artistic Endeavors. And so I had grown up doing that, and I loved theater, and so they suggested that I come audition for this in Chambersburg, which is a good couple hours away, but I loved doing it. It was an amazing audition experience, and I made some of my best friends that I've kept for years and years there. So yeah, that was really where I got my start, was Sound of Music.
My first memory of you, Noah, was Oliver.
Oliver.
We did Oliver together at Washington County Playhouse.
Yeah.
I was a swing in that show, and I think I played every part in that show at some point over the course of the 8-week run. I think I was your mother. I think I was.
Oh goodness, probably.
I was just about everybody in that show, but that's my first Noah Gross memory.
Oh goodness, I was so young then.
I know.
Could still hit those very high notes.
Yes. Amelia, what got you your start?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like Noah. So I started doing artistic endeavors with Laura, and I was doing that for years. And then Laura told me about stage camp, and I had always wanted to be an Annie like my whole life. And then she told me that they were doing Annie, so I tried out for it, and I was Lily St. Regis in that, and that's like I like love doing that. And then I was kind of involved with stage camp and like CCT after that. So yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Logan, tell me your story.
So my first show was Sound of Music as well. And I live in McConnellsburg, so like near Chambersburg, but I didn't know anybody. And I think a friend of my mom's was taking her daughter to audition, and she was like, "Oh, you guys should come with us." So we did, and then I was in the show, and I was the understudy who I don't think I talked to anybody until like the last show. I was so scared of everybody. But yeah, so I started with Sound of Music with all of these guys, and then yeah.
Oh, so long ago. And now look at them, they're all super grown up. So keeping with the throwback theme, I'm going to embarrass them all with a few old school pictures that I found.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them I was going to do this because I wanted pure reactions. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to give you guys the chance to see some throwback. So I want your honest reactions to what's about to happen. All right, are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Anxious.
Go. All right, there's your first one.
Good. I was always like screaming. I lose my voice. I look psychotic in that.
Well, this is seriously one of my favorite. I used this a few weeks ago on CCT's feed. This needs to be a meme. I'm telling you, this.
Yeah, honestly. Oh,
Sure.
God.
It absolutely needs to be a meme. Okay, ready? We're gonna move on to the next one. Oh, it's being silly. All right, hang on. See, I told you, I'm ill prepared. I thought this was gonna work, and now it didn't. All right, ready? Let's go to. All right, so this is Amelia again. Look at her.
That's much cuter than the first one.
It is. Look at that pretty face.
That was such a fun show.
No, I know. We always used to go to like Red Robin too. I feel like that's like the one thing that I always like remember about it was like the Red Robin hour. That was always a thing. I don't know if you guys remember that too, but I always do.
Don't you love? Isn't it funny what you remember?
Yeah. That was like, the most fun because we like all got to like like blow off steam and like I don't know. It was just always fun. But
Yeah. All right. So are we ready for the next one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Here's the next one. Look at that. That even gets
Free braces. Oh, brother. Wow.
That gets Megan and Mama. Hey, Megan, talk a little bit about getting that experience to share the stage with your mom.
It was fun. I wasn't expecting it at first. And at times I was like kind of embarrassed. I'm like, okay, it's my mother. But it was super fun, and it was nice to spend time with her. Now looking back, having that time, because usually she's used to watching me on the stage, but it was nice to have her by my side through it. So
Yeah. All right, so you ready for the next one?
yeah.
All right, we're back to Music Man. Look at our Harold Hill.
So cute. That was so fun.
This was okay. I'm gonna brag a little bit. So this was the first show that they did this was the second one after I had my daughter. I have one of my favorite videos of my daughter is her dancing on the stage to Pick a Little, Talk a Little. And she keeps going even after the music stops. I remember sitting on the stage watching all of you laughing your heads up trying to get through the song, and she was just going nuts on that stage. And I still to this day, I share it every year, and I could see like, oh, I can see most of you in the background.
My favorite part about that show was we were like, so Christian's not a great dancer. How can we like maneuver him like back? And like I loved every rehearsal trying to like get me out of like public view, because I was like, you know what, I'm absolutely fine with this. I'm gonna chill back here.
You guys remember the plague that swept through all of us during that show?
Yes.
And Laura was just behind the stage with her essential oils trying to help us all.
No,
She was sang her whole song with her dress unzipped. Do you remember that? Like you sang your whole song.
Yeah, because I honestly like felt like I was gonna puke, and like it was awful.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because that was awful, and I still remember it.
Amelia, I remember trying to talk your mother into letting me, I still had nausea medication from when I was pregnant, and I remember trying to talk your mother into letting me give you one instantaneous fix. And swear to you, it's gonna help her. She's like, well, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna, her. I'm like, I swear to God, it's gonna work. Just let me give her a pill.
Yeah, what? I don't know what you didn't say. Yes.
I am like not a superstitious person, but ever since that show, I never get coffee before a show anymore.
Well, yeah,
So,
we also ate like Red Robin and Starbucks, like Frappuccino. Like we were being.
We're so surprised, but we were like idiots.
Like,
Yeah,
what
like,
we thought.
yeah, a ton of fries and then like coffee, and you're right. We were
Like, why did we think that was a good idea? It was our own fault, but.
All right, so you ready for the next one? Oh.
Well,
I love that show.
I gotta love the fedora.
Christian in a fedora?
What a move.
Yeah, so this was Honk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Honk.
Honk.
Christian little baby face in a fedora.
Oh gosh. And I have another honk. Let me find the other. Oh, there's the other honk. Hold that thought. Oh, it's right there. Pause. Look at that.
That's like such a stance. Like
I
you're
was
like
gonna say, what power move.
powerful.
I tried to let Laura let me keep those glasses at the end of that show, and she said no. Couldn't keep them.
Aw,
No.
you should have told me. I'd have totally smuggled them out for you.
You didn't steal them?
I'm pretty sure they were like her actual glasses that she took lenses out of.
Oh.
So I don't think I could keep them.
You should have told me. I would have totally smuggled them out.
Oh man, I would have loved that. Good memento.
I know. So moving on, I wanna just really quick touch on how you guys feel like the experiences that you've had with CCT and the things that you've learned have helped you get to the point that you are today. Megan, why don't you start?
Wow. I mean, there's so many like life lessons that you can take out of theater, no matter what walk of life you decide to like go on. Like I'm a graphic design major, so it's not really a lot of theater per se, but I think something that has taught me a lot has been just how to carry myself, like when I'm talking to anyone, when I'm talking to people or employers, like just to carry yourself with professionalism and how to work with others and respect others, I think has been a huge part that I can lend to theater, because growing up doing that, you're working with so many different types of people and different directors and different styles. And so it's really taught me how to work professionally and also like just respect for others, I'd say.
Awesome. And I think that the thing that I was always impressed with the five of you was it didn't matter how old you guys were. You were always professionals. we always knew that we could give you guys anything, that we could trust you guys with anything, that it didn't matter what we, you know, what we threw at you, that we knew you'd take it in stride and you'd take whatever, you know, and just put your whole hearts into it. And that's a testament to the 5 of you and, you know, the 5 people that you are. Christian, what about you? What do you think? How do you feel like you're able to translate kind of your theater experience into your daily life now?
I think, well, a lot of it was therapy for me, honestly. I like really got into the feeling of performing, and I think that theater taught me that I needed that in some capacity. And obviously I do music now, so it's not the same exact thing, but I realized that like I didn't want to stop playing a character. I just didn't like the form it was taking. And so, I mean, I take that into concerts, in, you know, things that we play in shows and all that. Is just, I like inhabiting somebody else. And I just realized that that was something that I always wanted to do, was just like a persona. And I don't know, I know that that's not like, I mean, obviously I learned responsibility, all these different things, and, you know, a ton of reasonable stuff from theater, and also just how to talk to people and make friends, which was huge for me. But at the core, I think really the love of just being somebody else was something that I just keep with me pretty much all the time.
Fantastic. I think that was something else that I always loved about the 5 of you, is that, you know, I've seen you guys do so many different things and play so many different characters. And the 5 of you have these amazing abilities to just lose yourselves in, you know, whatever role it is. Like Megan, I remember the first time I saw you was when you were Gertrude in Seussical, and you were just a little thing, and so, you know, innocent and loving, and the next thing you know, you're Violet Beauregard and you're snapping your gum and, you know, being sassy and doing whatever. And, you know, and you know, each one of you I've seen do so many different things that are so different, and you guys just kind of lose yourselves in it. And I think that's the beauty of you know, the 5 of you. Noah, but what about you? What have you taken and kind of molded into your life?
Yeah, so I think definitely growing up in theater and doing these camps has given me a lot of teamwork skills. Like I'm able to work with people more readily and not like just, yeah, work with people more readily, I would say. And it's also taught me a lot of improv skills, thinking on my feet and things. When things go wrong in a show, you just gotta go with it. And it really helps in everyday life, just thinking off the top of my head, you know. Working with friends has really been a big thing for me too. It's because I remember back when I was a little kid, it was also hard for me to try to just like make new friends and stuff, but I think I really found my community with these people that I've gotten to work with over the years.
So Noah brought up the idea of having to like roll with the punches and stuff. Do any of you guys, before we move on to, you know, Amelia and Logan, do any of you guys have your like improv story where something went wrong and you totally had to roll with the punches?
Oh yeah.
What's
I have one right off the bat where I remember it was during Honk Jr. And I was doing a scene with Torrance, who played the cat. And I remember it was during the farmer scene where I was supposed to get caught and stuff, and I just completely forgot all my lines. No idea, it just blanked. And I remember throwing Torrance for a loop because I forgot everything and just started making up some stuff and basically made up that entire scene. And it was during a show too, so there was no calling quits there. And so I just we made up an entire scene right then and there and went on with the show.
I remember that.
Nice.
It was a disaster, but we made it through.
Anybody else have a oh my god story?
Go ahead, Christian.
Well, okay, so this one is just like, I've had pants rip like more than once on stage, and like,
No.
I turned it into a bit. Like, you just gotta like make it funny, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm laughing, then it's fine. And it's like after the second or third time that happened, I was like, okay, it's just like a gag now. I'm not even worried about it. So yeah.
Go ahead, Logan. What were you gonna say?
So we did a few years ago. We did curtains at the Washington County Playhouse, and so it's like a murder mystery musical thing, and the end, obviously, so I was like the detective, and the end is supposed to be you reveal who the murderer is, and so he comes out wearing a mask, so because the audience isn't supposed to know, but the detective is supposed to have revealed who it was, and I completely blanked. And so I just started rambling and going, it's such a I said the word lackluster at least 5 to 7 times. Like, I just kept saying lackluster.
Was that your line? Like, was that part of the actual line?
That word was in the line once.
Oh, okay.
Going, this lackluster of a lackluster. And then I got to a point where I realized I hadn't revealed who the murderer was, like who the killer was. But it was too late to like fix it. So then I awkwardly kind of just threw his name into the next line that was happening. But the whole beginning of when it fell apart, I remember standing on the stage going, who forgot their line? Seriously, come on. Like, I was so mad that somebody had forgotten their line. And then I realized everybody was looking at me because I forgot what was happening. And it was a lackluster, to say the least.
And that became your catchword.
That was my catchword.
I'm sorry, guys. Before we have to go on, I have to.
Okay. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you. It was good seeing you guys. Bye.
You too.
Y'all see my cat makes a
10 o'clock.
video I ever do. So Amelia, go ahead. What's CCT origin? I mean, not.
I also have an improv story if you want to hear that too.
Yes, give me that first.
Okay, so I was like really upset about this because like I was very like a perfectionist, so I got like really upset if like I thought, you know, like one thing went wrong. But I was in Guys and Dolls Junior, and Noah, I think were we all in that?
Yeah, we were all in that.
Yeah, and I played Adelaide, and I was like, it was like the first time I ever like messed up like kind of bad on stage. And I remember singing like the same verse to the song twice. And I made this like a big deal about it afterward because I was like, I messed up, blah, blah, blah. And during the song, I like said like, oh, like this is such a stupid book. It has the same thing twice. And I actually like got more of an applause for that because I just started saying like random stuff. And I like asked my dad and he was like, oh, like that had two different verses. Like I didn't even notice. So it wasn't big of a deal, but I remember being very dramatic about it and like upset, but it was funny anyway. So it was okay. It still like scarred me at the time. So yeah.
And I remember you being upset, and I was like, I nail scenes that are worse than that. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll kill it and be like, that still wasn't as good as that mess up. So yeah, but.
Oh, thanks.
I'll tell you all a funny story. I haven't been on stage in a very long time, but I am notorious for falling on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if any of you have ever done it, like, it's not a show until I've fallen. I've smashed my faces off walls. I completely like laid it out. I've been bleeding. I broke my ankle on stage. Like, and you just keep going. And every single time somebody has come up to me and been like, that was really good. I believed that. I'm like, thanks. I worked on it really hard.
I have one more funny story, if that's okay. I don't want to like.
Go ahead.
So this isn't necessarily, so we were all in Les Mis. This isn't necessarily an on-stage mishap, but this is like my claim to fame of, it's like the funniest thing that's ever happened to me during a show. So we were doing Les Mis, which is obviously a very vocally demanding score. And it was the last show, and we had been, so just like slowly losing notes. Like our ranges are just going down as we get through the numbers. And we were at intermission, and I had put in a cough drop. And I had like water or tea or something, and they called places for Act 2, and I hadn't finished my cough drop, but I was like, oh, we have to go. So I took a big gulp of whatever I was drinking to try to swallow it, and it got stuck. I couldn't breathe. So like, sorry, trigger warning. So I had to throw up to like not die.
I had no clue this happened during that.
Oh yeah,
This happened?
I had like vomit on my sleeve, on my white like puff sleeve, and I'm like frantically texting Noah's mom, trying to ask her how to get vomit out of a white shirt. So that was that. I mean, that's my really funny. It's not really on stage, but that's my really funny theater story.
Yeah, but you win. Damn.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the audience in the row behind Barbie, in the row behind Noah's mom, when she got that text message. There was this like, oh my God, Logan's sick. Is everything okay? Do we need to send somebody back? Oh my. All right, Amelia, give me your theater translation into your life.
Yeah, so I was involved in theater for like I'd say like the bulk of my life, and I still am today, but I'm actually going into like PR as my job now, and I feel like that's still a very like creative, like people person kind of field. So I find that like I have an easy time in public speaking classes, like versus other people. Like I don't know, I just feel like theater like gives me the tools to also like be confident in like what I'm saying, like, and myself, because I mean like going on stage and like singing in front of everyone, like it's very like easy now to like go to an interview and I'm like, oh, like I just talk to them, like I don't have to sing 16 bars and then learn a dance combination in 10 minutes and then do a monologue and then do like, so it's very like has given me the tools to just like be myself and also like be just creative too. And I feel like if I could do that, kind of like I can do anything now. So I feel like that's helped a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. Logan, what about you? How do you feel like theater has helped you in the decisions that you made and how you're moving forward in your adult life?
Yeah, so when I was, I mean, at the advanced age of 65, no, like when I was young, I
you look so good for your age. Look at you.
I kind of was under this false idea that to use theater in your life, you have to be a performer and you have to do 8 shows a week on Broadway. Like that was the only way that I thought you can make art or theater or whatever. And as I've gotten older, I kind of have realized that teaching theater is more of what is how I want to use my art. But theater in general, I think has like in my life and where I want to go on a career path, I actually am a criminology major in deviant behaviors. And I think kind of how I realized that studying behavior is what I wanted to do was going through like all the character analysis workshops and character development and all of that. And then it kind of clicked that, oh, I really enjoyed figuring out why characters do what they do. Maybe I want to figure out why people do what they do and that kind of stuff. But in general, I think theater education is so much more than learning to sing and dance. And you do learn those things, but you learn to meet a deadline, to work with others. And the reality is sometimes work with others who you aren't necessarily best friends with. Work with somebody who you don't necessarily get along with. And that's I think that's a very good life skill. But I think it also forms these bonds that I have with these people here and so many other people, that we have this thing that we all did together, that we know what happened and how it went, that we get to have together, that we don't have. So I don't know. I really take the relationships and the friendships that were formed, and that's what's really special to me of doing theater over the years.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, I've been doing this for many, many years. And you still have relationships with people, decades later that, you're right, Logan, that you have this slice of life with, that that nobody else understands, that nobody else is a part of. So one last thing before I let you guys get back to your crazy lives. I just want each of you to just kind of take a moment, and what is your advice? As you guys know, we're still, we welcome our young people coming in. CCT is taking a, big part in the Young Playwrights Festival moving forward, and we're working with virtual children's theater plays right now. What, as 4 people who have grown up having theater be a part of your life, what is your advice? What do you want, kind of the next generation to take away? What do you want them to know that you feel like you don't want them to walk away without the knowledge that, without this little nugget? So Christian, why don't you start? What's your nugget?
I think that I'm kind of going to approach it from if I could have talked to myself. I would say that there's this distinct focus, especially like in some theater culture, on like, I need to be good. And I think that that's really damaging in a lot of ways. Like, I need to be good all the time. And really, like, why you're coming there at the end of the day is for catharsis. Like, do your work, do your best, obviously, but holding yourself up to this standard of good, or like, I need to be acceptable to the audience. Like, the thing is, you can't define it, it's not mathematical. So people really don't know. They're always going to be reaching for it. It's going to be the source of insecurity. And I think it was in myself for a long time. It's just, if you're enjoying what you're doing and you get that sense of joy out of it, that is the reason you started it in the first place, then really the rest is pretty trivial. So I would just say that.
That's awesome. Awesome. Noah, what about you? What's your nugget?
My nugget, I would say definitely it's about having the fun. Right now at this age, you're not a professional. There's no point in thinking you are. Right now it's all about making those friendships that will last, like we have, obviously, and having a chance to share your art in your creative outlet. Yeah, don't take yourself too seriously, I guess. It's all about just having fun and, making memories.
I love it. What about you, Amelia? What's your nugget?
Yeah, so I would say, like, do it for just of the sole person, like the sole purpose of making art, and like telling a story, because I feel like, yes, you may like the like attention that it gives and like the like confidence, but I think like as long as you focus on what that story is saying and like what you're trying to convey, that's the most important thing. And that's what literally theater is just telling a story, and telling and like leaving the audience walking away with something, like either if it's them having fun, if it's them learning a lesson. I feel like that's the most important thing. So like just be happy that you're telling these stories and like teaching people like new things, because I think that's the most important thing about theater.
Fabulous. Logan, what about you?
I guess my little nugget is there aren't rules about what it has to be, and you can make theater and art whatever it means to you. So there aren't rules except to be kind. I think being kind is so, to everybody you encounter, I mean in life, but in theater, kindness goes such a long way in being cast and wanting to be worked with and being offered things, and just be kind to everybody you encounter, I think is a really important part of theater.
Well, thank you so much to all of you for joining me this evening and for taking time out of your busy schedules to check back in with us. On behalf of CCT, we are incredibly proud of the people that all of you have become and the contributions that all of you are bringing to the world. We have been lucky enough to see you guys grow from wonderful kids into absolutely wonderful adults. So we love you all. Thank you so much for your time. We wish you guys the best. And we hope that sometime in the future, we see each and one of you back on the CCT stage whenever we're able to all get back on the stage together. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you check out CCT's Facebook page for more information about upcoming reunions, as well as our upcoming virtual children's theater series and some other special things that we have coming up. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon.
It was so nice seeing you guys.
Good
Bye.
seeing you guys.
Bye.
Bye.